Welcome back, everybody. Real quick before we get started today, we just wanted to mention that we do have some updates and stuff going on inside the $1 Million Academy. We are updating our community inside the Academy. Previously, we had a community portion inside Facebook, and it was fine, but we have decided to level it up a little bit. We're classing things up around here. We are going to be using an app. It's called Heartbeat. And you can put it on your phone, and then you can just go to this Heartbeat app, and that will have everything that is going on inside the $1 Million Academy. Not all of the courses. There'll be some courses in there, but it's basically going to be like a good touch point for what's kind of going on in the Academy. It's where people can talk. You can chat with the other members inside of the Academy. You can chat with us. I'm hopefully going to start making some just, mindset, lifestyle, just being an entrepreneur, all the garbage that goes along with that. I'm going to start making
I wouldn't say garbage. It's good stuff.
It's good important stuff, but I slip into mind garbage all the time. I've really spent the last 6 months kind of trying to just get my head a little straight, because I can sometimes get into funks about things just because I get overwhelmed. There's too much going on. That's what I mean about entrepreneurial garbage. It's just all that stuff that comes with it. And I found that I had to really kind of just start getting a little better at getting my head around things. And so I'm like, well, if I'm learning this, I might as well bring you guys all along for the ride with me. So might as well share. So that kind of stuff's gonna all be in there.
That, and then we are updating our courses, especially we're hitting hard the numbers portion of the Academy.
We're trying to make them easier, quick, actionable.
And we're redoing the videos, we're redoing the spreadsheets. Well, the spreadsheets are done, but we're redoing the videos that go along with these spreadsheets now. And those will be coming out here soon. So we're really excited about it because it's just going to, like Kitty said, it's going to be so much easier, so much smoother to go through.
All the changes we made in the courses and the spreadsheets are all based on the feedback that we have gotten from Academy members. Because, when we first started, we made it based off of what we knew and what our experiences were. But that's not universal for everybody. So we've made them even better, quicker and easier to use. I think is all going to be great because I know fall is, seems like it's long off because we're all still, sweating here in July, but it will be here before you know it. And fall and winter is really when most landscapers slow down and have time to kind of dig into this stuff even more. So we want to have it all ready, polished up, and ready to go for you.
Yep. And then we're adding courses too. There'll be more stuff on sales and getting your mindset right on that. So there's just a lot more changes we'll be implementing here soon.
Making it even better.
Yep.
Not that you have to wait till fall to join. You're welcome. The Academy, we do still have one-on-one slots available, and the group coaching is always in there. So if you don't want to wait till fall, we're just kind of doing it dirty. We're just getting it in there as we get it done. So I think that's going to really be great. The updated community portion is going to be hopefully really fun. And the courses, I said, we always try to make them better. We're not teachers. We are not natural teachers. We are literal landscapers that decided to do this. And so if our teaching comes off as a little awkward, please know that we're trying. And we're making the improvements that we can. But neither one of us was ever a teacher. So.
No, we've learned a lot. And that's one of the main reasons we're changing. Because we've had this Academy for a few years. So some of those videos are older and not that they're wrong or bad information.
All the information's good. We're just a little cringy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So today's podcast, we really want to dive into creating a great customer experience. And this is one of those things that's really going to help differentiate yourself from your competitor because everybody does great work. Everybody does quality work. Everybody has great employees. But if you can provide that great experience along the way through your customers, it's really going to blow you up because people are going to want to recommend you to other people.
Well, that's half the battle. I could not even tell you how many times I have talked to people and they did not have good customer experiences, not just with the trades industry in general, but landscaping in particular. And it's embarrassing. So we can fix that.
Yep. And one stat, if you don't think customers' experience is that important, and there's one stat I have here. It says from a recent study, 75% agreed that customer experience was an important factor in their decision to purchasing a product. So this is just a recent study from 2022. I forgot where it sourced from, but I'll put it in the show notes. But it's true. People look at these types of things. They're not just going on Amazon and ordering a product, and if it doesn't work, you send it back. This is like a big deal when people are purchasing from you, especially if you're doing a landscape project.
And especially if you want them to be a repeat customer.
Yep.
And to tell their friends, especially if they're big jobs. And if you have, customers that have money, they probably have friends with money.
Yep, so. Absolutely. So we'll get into that right after a word from our sponsors.
The only app every landscaper needs. Company Cam makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with guys in the field, no matter where you are. Company Cam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, and even communicate and share progress with homeowners with galleries and project timelines, all from your smartphone. Company Cam, the only app every landscaper needs. Check it out at companycam.com/million or in your app store.
If you run a landscape or lawn care business, you know the work never ends. There's customer service, hiring staff, mountains of paperwork. The to-do list just goes on and on. Plus, you still need to do the actual work that pays your bills. Running your entire business with pen and paper alone is just hard and really plain messy. You know you need a better system to stay on top of everything so nothing falls through the cracks. Jobber is a mobile and online app that helps keep your business organized and looking more professional than ever. With Jobber, you can quote jobs, schedule your crews, send out invoices, accept payments online, all in one place. You won't know how you ran your business without it. Jobber offers free one-on-one coaching to help get you started, and there's no software experience needed. Get paid on time, go paperless, and impress your customers. Try it for free today at getjobber.com/MDL. This podcast is brought to you by Busy. Busy is so simple to use, and it's the most reliable GPS time tracking app on the market. And the best part is, it was built for landscapers. Busy's founder created Busy because he owns multiple construction companies and needed to understand better which projects were making him money and which projects were killing him. Payroll is the highest variable cost in the project, so you better be tracking it. Busy does this better than anyone else. So download Busy today, and don't forget to mention the $1 Million Landscaper podcast to get 3 free months.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You know you want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $100 off, mention the $1 Million Landscaper podcast. If you want to get the leads you want and turn your current clients into raving fans, then you need to try SendJim. They've created an exclusive offer just for our listeners. If you sign up today, you can get your first month for just $2. So if you haven't already, go to sendjim.io/MDL, where you can get even more exclusive deals just for $1 Million Landscaper podcast listeners. That's sendjim.io/MDL, and take advantage of these awesome deals today.
Alrighty, guys. So today, like I said, we wanted to dive into looking at your customer experience that you have. And I really recommend that you take a step back and think and act like your customer. So from the time
the experience you are giving your customers.
Yes, exactly. So I want you to look at everything from the time they either look at your website, they call you up, they see your vehicles out somewhere, the first time they call you, everything, all the way through to even after they sign the contract, after the job's done. There's still a whole process of things that should be done. So I encourage you to really look at it. And this is really could be a selling feature for you is, if they're deciding between you and somebody else and yours is, $1,000 more, obviously more money, and they ask you, well, why should I go with you? You're more money. Well, it could be our customer experience. And here's what we do in our customer experience. And you start laying that out. More than likely, your competition is not doing that. They're not giving them some
and you can't just say that you do it. You have to actually do it.
Well, yes,
just
absolutely.
FYI. Well, because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, well, we do great, and it's going to be awesome. And then they drop
Yeah.
Not one ball, but all the balls.
Yeah. So I really encourage you just to take a step back, look at everything that you do in your business through the eyes of your customers. It could really be an eye-opening experience. Like go through your website and see, if I was looking for a lawn maintenance, or if I'm looking for a landscape design, whatever it is.
And just a little tidbit. If you designed your website and you've looked at it too many times, have somebody else do it. Get somebody that you trust to give you honest, constructive feedback in a healthy and nice way. Because like I can't even look at our own websites anymore because I've seen them so many times that I'm not a good judge of what is good and bad because I've looked at it way too much. But I can ask my sisters to look at it and be like, hey, do you understand this? Like, if you look at our website, do you know what we do? Do you know what we offer? Do you know what's going on? And they will honestly either be like, oh yeah, this is sense, or girl, what you doing? This is garbage. So find somebody that will give you good feedback.
Yeah. All right. So tip number 1 is to really just overall listen to your customers' wants and needs. And this can be done in many different ways. So if you have them go to your website and they fill out a form, make sure you're asking the right questions that are on there and listening to what they actually want. Or if you happen to go on their, to their site and visit their place and talking to them, listen to everything they have to say and really listen to it, not just like be thinking, oh, we could do this while they're talking. You need to actually physically listen and pay attention to what they're saying. And then what I found is actually repeating back some of the terms they use. So a good example is if they say that they wanted, I'm trying to think here, like a brick paver patio, whatever it is, and you call it something else, say, okay, well, so what I'm getting here is that you want to have a patio, it's brick paver patio in this backyard.
Paver patio is the
exactly,
key word.
Repeat back exactly what they say, even if it's not necessarily correct or incorrect, or I should make,
even if it's wrong, even if they don't use the right landscaping terms, just say it back to them regardless, because those are the words that they know.
Yep. And actually use that even into your proposal. Write it out that way. That's what they understand. And
you want them to understand it.
Yep.
And I just wanted to chime in on the actual listening part, because yes, you're the expert, and yes, you know better. So if they're saying something that is wrong and won't work, just let them get their point out, because
get into that.
Oh, is that the next thing? Did I jump ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I was just gonna say, just let them get their point out, because you may be able to come to the same conclusion of what they really want. You might just have different ways of going about doing it. So
yeah, and the other thing I will suggest is smile when you're talking to the people. Always be smiling. If you answer the phone, smile. If you can tell there's a difference. Like if you're smiling or if you're just like.
I've heard that there's studies on this.
Yes,
like if you actually smile, you'll feel happier, and people like to see smiling faces. But if you're someone who has, I sometimes naturally look mad, and I'm not mad. It's just that I'm not smiling. So somebody who has a little bit of grouch face, it can be hard.
And well, kind of a little bit on that note is one thing I heard a long time ago in an accountability group that I had. They had a person that answered the phones, and normally they call them the secretary. But they called him the director of first impressions, because I love that. I fell in love with that when they said that, because that's the first person that customer is speaking to, and it's very important that they're trained to smile while they talk and ask the right questions and be courteous.
Well, and if that is the first line, your first line of defense, not defense, but that is the first interaction that one-on-one, like in person, that somebody might be having, that makes a big difference. And I have a good example of this is the Indiana office of the state chemist. Like that's where you have to call in Indiana if you have problems with your herbicide license, pesticide certifications and stuff like that. I hate calling there because the secretary is so mean. The lady that answers the phone, I don't know, like I have a picture in my head that she's like, is like smoking like 6 packs a day, and she's worked there for like 40 years. And she's
Monster Incorporated type
it is a little bit like Roz on Monsters Inc. She's not friendly. She's not pleasant. She's not real helpful. But I do sometimes have to call there because I have questions just about getting people's pesticide license, transferred, and like if they come from out of state and all this kind of stuff. And I dread it with a stomachache every time, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to talk to that mean lady, and I don't want to. So it's a real thing.
It is. First impressions matter.
Yeah.
First impressions matter. So again, just make sure you're listening to the customer. Repeat back what they say, and like I said, just really hone in on what they're saying. Don't get I get it. I'll be thinking, oh, I could be doing this, and they're talking here, but I'm not really paying attention. I know they're talking, but focus on what they're saying.
Pay attention, because you can always write down your upsell thoughts that you had later, afterwards. You can always write that down later.
So this one kind of goes along with Katie started going into, was be transparent and honest with the customer about something. So like Katie said, if they give you an example or a suggestion, things that you know it won't work, educate them on that. Don't just come out and say, well, that's not going to work. You take a tactical approach to this, and you be an educator on this, and tell them, like, no, this really won't work this way, and give them the reason why.
Scott has to do this for me all the time. I love to look on Pinterest and watch HGTV, and I get crazy ideas from the internet of stuff we want to do in our house, and he's like, no, and I'm like, why can't we do this? They did it on TV in 10 minutes and it looked great. And you're always like, well, let me show you. So he is pretty nice about crushing my hopes and my dreams for house renovations in a way that makes sense. But if you don't know the ins and outs and the behind the scenes, then you don't know that it might not be possible.
And this is exactly the reason why, is because there is everything online, like you said, Pinterest.
Get on Instagram. Everything's gorgeous.
HGTV, all these types of shows and everything going on. Everything makes everything looks great, but it doesn't always work. So you have to be an educator on this.
It either doesn't work, or the people are very unaware of the budget.
Well, there's that. But I have two stories here. So one was, I had a customer that had a pondless waterfall done by somebody else, and it wasn't working. So I get out there and I see the base where the water's at and the pump's at, and I can tell I don't remember exactly how long. It was a pretty long waterfall. There was not enough water capacity in this basin to support that water. So I asked him, like, when you turn it on, I'm assuming it gets about halfway and runs out of water. He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, it's because this basin area is not big enough. We'd have to put a new basin in here and make it larger. And, but I'm like, the area he had it in wasn't big enough, so we'd have to do some modifications. No, that's not the problem. So I literally tried to explain to him, like, well, you have this, whatever. I figured out how many gallons, 250 gallons or whatever it was. Did the math, showed him, like, okay, coming down this far. They still didn't agree with what I said. I didn't get the job. I kind of let it go because they did not understand it. But
because we weren't going to do the job wrong and then have them be even more unhappy.
Yeah, so I tried to explain to him. I did the best I could. But again, I just took the time to try to show him, and I even broke it down to the math, because this person was an engineer too, so I thought he would get it.
They would understand the math.
So that's why I was like, okay, this person needs to see the math, needs to see the details and stuff. No, didn't get it. So
moral of that story, sometimes it just doesn't work. But would you rather be the guy that didn't do the job, or the one that like the original installer did it wrong?
Yep.
You don't want to get the reputation to be the one that does things wrong.
Yep. The other one I can say is, people would always, when they call us for water or ponds or anything, they want it like way out away from the house.
That is odd, yeah.
So I try to explain to them, wouldn't it be nice to have this near your house so you can actually hear the waterfall? So you're out sitting in your kitchen, you can look out, you see the waterfall, or you have your window open, if your bedroom's right there, you can actually hear the sound of running water at night. Oh yeah, I never thought about that. It's just little things, but
they don't think about
you
it.
are the professional. You need to educate them and why. Explain the reasons why.
Yards, I think it's over on Randolph. Anyway, they have this big, huge front yard with this pond, smack dab in the middle.
It's probably 100 feet off the house.
Okay, you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what is the point of that, other than to have fish out there to feed the blue herons? I don't know. I'm like, you can't even see it from the house.
Yeah. So again, it's just one of those things that you know this would be better here, and give them suggestions and explain the reason why. Most of the time, people are willing to understand. And the other thing we had, I guess, kind of talking about ponds here, but Indiana's flat, at least where we're at, Northwest Indiana.
We're in Northwest Indiana. It was once covered by 3 separate glaciers, so that's why as you progress through the state, it gets hillier and hillier, but our very northern portion is very flat.
It is.
Thank you, glaciers.
So people always want, I call them anthills, they literally want to have this 5 foot tall waterfall hump in the middle of the yard. I'm like,
it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't really blend in. If you wanted something like this, we can make a larger mound and have boulders and trees and all that stuff.
There's things you can do to negate the flatness.
Yeah, but people literally just want a hump in their yard and this waterfall shooting out of it. I'm like, that's not the best solution.
What are we
I'm like,
doing? Yeah.
let's blend it into their natural surroundings here. So it's again, it's just being an educator and teaching people, but be honest with them and let them know. And if it's something that, like the waterfall example where the engineer didn't want me to redo it, I didn't want the job because, like Katie said, it wouldn't do us any good. It's going to give us a bad rap for something that.
Because when you're knowledgeable and confident in what you're doing, you have the confidence to tell people no.
Yeah, sorry, apparently we're not going to be the right fit here. So here's a couple of the companies if you'd like to call them.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So.
Yeah, have fun.
So just be honest with them and open about everything. The next one is probably one of the biggest ones. I probably should have put this number one, but it's communicate with your customers.
This is the number one. When people are complaining, it's because, well, I've told the story 100 times. My sister always thinks that her landscaper is not coming back, or the person that was doing their deck. She is always convinced that they took her money, because they usually get like half down or whatever, and are never showing up. And I'm like, they're coming back. I'm like, how long's it been? She's like, I haven't heard from them in 5 days. They haven't been here. I'm like, you're fine. They always have, luckily. Yeah. But if people are paying a lot of good money, I mean, especially for bigger jobs, people, you don't know, maybe that was their whole vacation money that they decided to spend on their yard, or maybe they've been saving for this for 3 years. It's a big deal to them.
Oh yeah, no, definitely be communicating. Let them know what's going on. And I like to do this from the get-go, from the time they sign that contract. Okay, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, here's how the process is going to go. After you sign the contract, we're going to work on getting the materials, and I can give you a timeline of when we're going to start or how it's going to go. But I explain the process. And I actually got thinking about this. Actually, when I was doing this, is like, why can't we create a checklist or something that they have when they're done, after we give this proposal? Like, step one, we're going to be doing this. We're going to get the materials
to give to the customer.
Yeah, and then they can see, okay. Then after this, we're going to be coming in with the materials. I would tell people,
they know where they're at in the process, because you know where you're at in the process. But if it's not,
I haven't done this, but I'm like, why don't we do this? Like, actually doing this podcast thing, I'm like, why don't we do this? So. Anyhow, but giving us some way for them to understand what's going on. And the way I like to look at this is, a lot of times people have never hired a landscaper. They don't know the process. They've never dealt any construction. Not all customers, but some, have never dealt this. So they don't understand the process at all. They don't understand that their yard might look like a bomb has gone off. And this is something I tell people, like, especially if I'm doing a whole backyard, big waterfalls and all this stuff.
Oh, it's going to be a
mess. It's going to be a mess. It's going to look like a bomb has gone off for a few days, but you'll start to see the progress as we go through. But I just want you to be aware of this. And it helps relieve their mind when they come out there and they see there's piles of dirt and, we have pallets of rock. We keep it organized for us, but they don't see it as it looks like a mess because it's dirt. Before it was grass, now it's dirt.
Like when you first plug in a pond, it's all muddy and disgusting.
Yeah, so it just letting them know what's going on. And then I'd personally like to have the foreman, the crew leader, whatever you want to call them, give the customer an update every single day if the customer's there. If not, there's tools out there that, like Company Cam is one of our sponsors. Company Cam is a great tool you can use to.
Ooh, how does that work?
So you can have
I don't know about this part of Company
Cam.
Tell me.
Well, Company Cam's all about photos. So the nice thing, you can have your crew leader take some pictures, like in the morning. They can do some pictures in the evening. You can actually send those to the customer and say, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, here's pictures of your progress of today," so they can see it. So if they're not there, they can actually see what's going on. I
can tell you, homeowners will flip out. That is 1,000% what people want, especially when they're dropping some dang good money. They want to be sitting at their job and be able to pick up their phone and see that and be like, "Oh, look, here's what my landscapers did today." And if they're at the office when they do this and you're making good progress, guess what they're going to do? They're going to show all their friends.
Yep, exactly. And this is part of that customer experience that's really going to set you apart. So like I said, just using something like Company Cam can really help you with that. But it's always nice to let the customer know what's going on. Okay, today we're finished up. We have this done. Tomorrow we'll be back and we're going to start this. Or if you can't be back, I'm sorry, it rained today. We are kind of stuck where we're at until it dries up. We'll be back and we'll be in contact with you in 2 days and see how it, if it's sunny out and dries up, blah, 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 whatever it is. But let them know. If you're not going to be there for today or tomorrow, let them know and give them the reason why. But just create that whole process through and just over-communicate with everything that's going on.
I was going to say the same thing. Communicate to the point where you think it's a little annoying, and that's probably that's probably a good spot to hit for the homeowner.
And even at the end, when the project's all finished, part of that communication is giving the customer material on like how to care for the plants, how to care for the water feature, how to
Sure. They
care
probably
for
don't
the
know.
timer or whatever it is. Let them know. That's part of the whole process. And then even after the job's done, follow up and say, hey, just checking in with you, see if you're happy with your waterfall. If you have any questions or anything, let us know.
Right.
Doesn't be long, but just let them know.
I've never had anyone say, "Oh my gosh, my contractor is just communicating so much.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed."
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
Yeah, so it's just these little things that's really going to help set you apart. So the next one is just follow through on your promise. So whatever you're telling the customer
All
you're
of
going to
these
do.
things we talked about.
Yeah.
Actually, you have to do it.
Yes. And this, again, is just something that's just huge. You have to just do what you say you're going to do.
Well, do it. And like Company Cam's a good example of finding tools to make it easier. Don't promise things that are going to make your life harder. There are tools available, like Company Cam, to make it easier and better, because it improves the experience for your customer, and it makes it easy for you to do. So win-win.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is just goes back to the listening portion. If you do exactly what they're looking for and asking for, you're probably going to be they're going to be ecstatic with everything at the end because you fulfilled everything.
And if you have that constant communication, like you said, especially with the pictures, you can course correct pretty immediately if you need to. Because if there's something they don't like I'm thinking to when we did our front patio in the front of our house, we had the guys here working on it, and you had told them to kind of go organically around this boulder that we have, and I didn't like that. I wanted it to just be symmetrical. It's hard to tell without showing the picture, but anyway, I mean, I know to watch for this stuff, and so I was watching, and I caught it pretty quick. But if I was like a regular homeowner who wasn't home, and this could have easily been a miscommunication between a husband and wife. The husband said do this, the wife wants this. We all know the wife wins most of the time. So if you're sending update pictures, they'll catch it, and you can catch problems before, because it was no big deal to go ahead and, like in our instance, to fix from how you had told them to do it. We caught it. It was like no big deal. We didn't have to like rip up a bunch of stuff, waste block or anything.
And a lot of that can be solved and help prevent issues if you do this at the end of the day, where your crew leader or whoever's in charge goes through with the customer and just shows them what's going on, make sure they're happy with everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That eliminates a lot of headaches down the road.
Yep.
The other portion, I guess, to following through with your promise is at the end of the job, I'd like to do a final walkthrough checklist.
Oh, for sure.
So this is based on what you have done in your contract, but you actually walk through and they sign it saying that they agreed you fulfilled everything in your contract, but you walk through and showed that you picked up the garbage, you blew off all the drives and streets and all that stuff. You did everything. Just having that done, for one, it protects you too, but two, it ensures them like you've done everything on your part. All right, now let's get paid.
Sometimes people have like basement window screens, and it's like, okay, if you're walking through and showing that you blew off all the mulch, you did everything. If that screen comes up ripped 3 days later, it's like, well, that wasn't us. Sorry, we did a walkthrough. Don't know what to tell you.
So I think that's very important, just to kind of follow through what you promise. And the last thing is, this one I know can be a little bit controversial, I guess, is your team should look professional. And they don't have to have like button-up shirts, but they should all be wearing, in my opinion, the same T-shirt or something. They should all look pretty professional,
at least
well-kept.
a cohesive look.
Yeah.
Sometimes different crew members will have different color shirts. That's okay.
No tore jeans or pants or anything like that. That just does not.
And I get it; it's hot, but I'm just not a fan of the holy pants.
And
I prefer that you don't cut your shirt into your own tank top. Like if you want to provide your people with tank tops, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's the DIYs that I'm like, come on, just no.
Yeah, and then they should be acting professional too on the job site. I prefer that they're not smoking on the job site, not chewing and spitting on the on the ground. It's just not professional. I would be.
Please don't leave your chew cup sitting out
when
you leave for the day, and then the homeowner comes home and there's a big old cup of spit or a Mountain Dew bottle full.
Can you imagine they're spitting and their kids walk through that? That'd be terrible. So just your crew should
Little
be
things.
Yes. But they should look professional. They should act professional. They should talk professional.
In their backyard.
We've had that.
I know these. I'm not making. These are all things that I have seen. I'm not making these up. So.
I know landscapers can be a bit rough, but keep the cussing down to a minimum. Don't be crude.
Especially
watch the music that's playing. Just
if you're in a neighborhood and there's kids around.
Keep it kind of mellow, just so the crews can listen to it. But just
have a fun day. I'm not saying don't talk and don't joke around, but keep it PG.
Everybody's watching, and it really, to me, I shouldn't say a lot, but it depends too. Like if you're in high-end residential and your crews are acting stupid on there.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get any other work.
This might be a controversial statement too, but a lot of times too, if it's those like townhomes or what are those, like duplexes and stuff like that, a lot of times there's a lot of retired people that have nothing else to do that day but stand outside and watch what you're doing and be up in your business. So they will watch you all day long.
They will.
Yeah.
So again, just have everybody look professional, act professional. We're big proponents of having your crews be educated. That way, if the customer comes out and says, hey, I'd like to have it done this way, say a block wall, but your crews know that they can't do that without some major changes.
If you've got new people, I don't expect them to know that. But whoever's out running the job should at least, and if they don't know, don't lie.
Yeah.
Say that they don't know and that they'll have to run it by somebody else.
Yeah, let me check on that. I'll get back to you. That's very important. But the crews should look professional. They should act professional. That's one of the big things. That's all part of that customer experience, because your crews are out there, however long it takes to do that project that whole time. So they have eyes everywhere. Everybody's got cameras everywhere. So they need to act professional. That's true. Yeah, I mean, you think you're acting stupid.
My sister thinks she accidentally flashed our neighbor's Ring doorbell. Like, that was this morning. So there's cameras everywhere. Well, it was accidental.
I did something back. This is probably the early 90s. I was on a job site, and the guys dared me to eat a worm or a grub or something. I've eaten both, so I'm not sure. But I ate one, and I remember hearing the customer inside yelling, "Ah!"
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were home. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. I just kind of went out and did my day. And 15 minutes later, the customer walks out, or the spouse or something walks out. She's like, I remember saying to me, "If you're that hungry, I'll make you something to eat." Like, that's not a good image to be putting out there. I know it's just a grub, but
hopefully they took it well. It depends on your customer.
Yeah, so it really got me thinking. And this is, like I said, probably
it's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So I've grown up since then. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's something simple like that. Yeah. They could be on a Ring doorbell, or it could be on one of the cameras that are out everywhere. So
everyone's got them.
Be professional all the time. And this is something you have to teach your crews and make sure they're aware of it. They may not even think about these types of things, but just make them aware. So again, just follow those 5 tips. Make sure, recap here, make sure that you're listening to their needs and wants. Be transparent. Be honest with them about everything that's going on. Over communicate. That's the big one. Follow through what you say on your promises, and make sure your crews are being professional. This is all these items go into being or creating that great customer experience that you need and want in your business.
And your customer experience isn't just while you're out there. It starts from the first time they see your trucks out somewhere, or they hit your webpage or make a phone call, to past when the job is done. When you're checking up with them a couple weeks after, just making sure they're still happy with whatever service you provided. So. That's
absolutely. Yeah. Just, again, just look through everything that you do in your business when you go through the process with a customer from the very beginning all the way through, find any friction points that are going on and work on resolving them, just getting eliminated. That's the best way you can do. So,
yep.
All right. You ready for some fun questions?
I'm ready. Shoot.
All right. Do you have a favorite coffee mug? And if so, what's on it, or what makes it your favorite?
Probably my favorite one is, I have like a coral color one that you and the boys got me for like my birthday or Mother's Day or something.
I didn't know if it was going to be my new coffee cup.
You did get a new coffee mug that I enjoy using.
Yes. All right. What makes you feel old? Not that you're old. I'm just
rude. Mostly like when new employees are coming on and I see their birthdays. Stuff like that. I'm like, look at that.
Yep.
Oh my God, I was out of high school, or I was out of college, or that's real close to our kid's birthday. That's weird. So that's mostly that.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite number and any particular reason why you have a favorite number?
No, but I like odd numbers. I set like alarms to always odd numbers. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm never going to set my alarm for 6 a.m. It'll always be set for 6:03.
That's strange to me.
I don't know.
Like, I understand odd numbers on plants and stuff, but I don't understand odd numbers in that kind of aspect.
I have no idea. It's just something that I have done for a very long time.
Gotcha.
And I just prefer it, like, to set the thermostat on an odd number. Like, yeah, I don't know. I never said it made sense, but I don't necessarily have a favorite number. But I, for whatever reason, like odd numbers.
All right, guys. So if you need any help with any of these
and
processes
if you want to
you're
check
going
out Company Cam,
through,
might as well plug. They're a sponsor, and like we don't just like let anyone sponsor our
No,
podcast. It has to actually be something that we find useful. And this is a great instance as to where you can use that. So I'm sure we have links and stuff to all of that everywhere.
Yep, I'll actually put it in the show notes, but it's down in the lower part of the show notes all the time. But yeah, definitely check out Company Cam. It's one of those little things that you may not think you need, but once you have it and start implementing it, it's going to be like an eye-opening experience. Like, why didn't we do this sooner?
It's something as easy as using Company Cam that will set you apart from everybody else. Why not go for it?
There's tons of other benefits to it, but that's just one of them
one
right
of
now. Yeah, so just definitely check it out. We got a special deal going on with them too. So
yeah, even better.
Yep. But the other thing is, if you need help with getting this process, or you need a fresh set of eyes to go through your sales process or your customer experience, let us know. We'll be willing to help you inside the academy.
Yeah, we do have one-on-one coaching spots still available. And if you're not interested on one-on-one, there's always the group coaching. You can join at that level, and then you can bring any questions that you have about any of this stuff to the group Q&A sessions that we have once a month. So Either way, you will get your questions answered.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today, and have a great day.